Good afternoon. I call to order the November 16th board meeting, 4:45 p.m. Welcome, everyone. Just one second. Okay. Roll call. Mr. Anderson, Mark Anderson.
Here.
Harry Block. He is running late. He will be here on the stand. Mr. Bruce Mandrick.
Here.
Jack Turner.
Present.
Lily Campbell, present. We have 4 board members that are present, so we have a quorum. Thank you. Again, I need to do the resolution for SB 361 board resolution. And we have received the information on this board resolution. But again, it is simply saying that we will follow the Brown Act and that we are permitted to have the board meeting. So SB 361 board resolution. And I will entertain a motion to approve SB 361 board resolution stating that we will be adhering to the board, to the Brown Act, and as we have virtual.
Move approval.
Mr. Turner, move approval. Bruce Mandrick, second, and you're still on mute. All right. Any discussion? Any discussion on board resolution 361? Hearing none, I will roll call. Mark Anderson,
Yes.
Harry Block, absent. Bruce Mandrick,
Yes.
Jack Turner,
Yes.
Lily Campbell, yes. SB 361 board resolution passed unanimously. And so with that, I do want to welcome those that are present tonight, those that are watching virtually, and all of our cabinet members who are present, our superintendent, Dr. Peterson, Mr. Sample, Dr. McCormick, and I think that's it from cabinet. So we are very glad you're here and welcome you. And thank you, board members who are present. Thank you always for being here and giving of your time. And so with that, are there public comments?
Madam President, there are no public comments tonight.
All right. So with that, we will move on with our regular agenda. And our lovely superintendent, we are ready for your update.
Thank you, Madam President. So we have the usual number of things to talk about, including COVID-19. As you are probably aware, Sacramento County and Yolo County are continuing to experience a decline in the COVID-19 rates, which is good news. But the local public health agencies are warning of a possible winter surge based on travel and flu season, et cetera. So we are trying to continue to educate our families in relation to vaccinations and also in relation to the push by the various health agencies for flu vaccinations as well as related to COVID-19. So we want to remind the board that our administrators are doing yeoman's work. Many of them are not only being the administrator of their school sites, but they're filling in classrooms, filling in as custodians, filling in as every position imaginable, because we have a wide range of open positions, as most of the school districts in the state and in our region have, and I'm sure you've read about a great deal of that. We would love to have a magic wand answer. It really isn't about more money. It's just there are no bodies out there. And so I just really want the board to recognize that our administrators are really struggling. Recently, I spoke to Higher Learning Academy, and Principal Marston shared that they have 12 open positions at this moment. And so that doesn't come without impact for our students and for all staff members who are trying to fill in the gap. So just really want to affirm everyone who's stepping up while we're having quarantines and modified quarantines and just staffing in general issues. So of course, in relation to that, I also want to affirm Dr. McCormick, who's been our expert along with the nursing team in relation to what they are now calling the is it a decision forest? Is that what it is now, Dr. McCormick? It started out as a tree and now it is being defined as a forest because it's that complicated. And we would be lost without Dr. McCormick and her team of nurses to be applying that in the various ways it needs to be applied. So definitely want to affirm her and her nursing team. We continue to, in my role in particular, I continue to meet with the Access Superintendent's Council, as well as meetings through the legislative lunch that AXA puts on. And recently we were also at the AXA Leadership Summit. All of those things, we have been keeping a pulse point on what's happening in the state. And all the superintendents are struggling in the same manner we are. And so we're all trying to put our collective intelligence to work. We also want you to know that we have been monitoring what you may be well aware of, which is that Monday was another statewide walkout in relation to parents who are not thrilled with the vaccine and or masking components that are placed on us. At this point, the impact that we had on this Monday was significantly less than what happened the first time. It is still has an impact. Okay, we have at least one school in the hundreds of students who decided to stay home on this day. And of course, the saddest part is that I think the parents don't realize they're not hurting the state, they're only hurting their own student school. But we will continue to monitor any other measures coming forth from that type of a walkout, if you will. I have finally and completely finished all of the fall superintendent presentations. So HLA was this last week, and we are already planning for our mid-year coffee with cabinet. You may be aware that historically I had done coffee with superintendent at all the campuses physically, but when COVID occurred, we innovated and we had coffee with cabinet in a Zoom setting. And what we actually found is it was far more relational to offer multiple times at convenient times for all the schools to pop in when they wanted to, how they could, and interface relationally with all of cabinet and not just with me. So we're looking forward to that happening again. I believe it is January, Mr. Sample. Is that when we're doing it? January.
That is correct.
All right. And so we look forward to that. Although I have to control Jason because he continuously talks about only sports during that time. And Dr. McCormick doesn't help. She just like piles on. And I'm like, there are some people who don't want to discuss sports. I'm just telling you, we need some other topics. But I'm teasing, of course. Everybody seems to jump in and want to talk about a lot of good things during that time. Also want to bring the board up to date on our IB growth and our excellence. As you will remember, we have named a halftime director over IB, which is our very own Ms. Joy DeCoy. And as of today, we were recently notified that she has been certified as an IB Educator Network Evaluation Leader, which is a great accomplishment, and we want to affirm her for that work. Also, she's well underway with monthly meetings that have been going on with all the IB coordinators, both primary year program and multi-year program. And I've gotten a lot of feedback from the campuses about the value that she is adding and bringing to campuses. So just really want to affirm Ms. Joy and affirm just the IB programs in general for their great work. We had been asked to update the board in relation to various vendor contracts that we have over time. And we have brought a few of those to you and updated some of that information to you, but we are going to bring a number of them. If you're wondering why we haven't completed that process, we have decided to bring a number of them at the mid-year retreat because we have more time on that schedule. And we will also connect them to some of our various funding sources and plans and outcomes, and so that you'll be able to more clearly see what dollars are being spent and what impact is being had across various sites for that. So look forward to talking about that at the mid-year retreat. Also, the ongoing opportunities we have, I want to say that Ms. Tara Jones and Mr. Sample and I attended the AXA Annual Leadership Summit last week. It is, I believe, the first in-person conference we've all attended. The three of us each had responsibilities. So Ms. Tara represents the region and especially in the area, I believe, of every child, every student succeeding. I don't know, I can't keep my acronyms right. Mr. Sample represents the region in areas of legislation, and I was representing and providing an award to this year's Women's Leadership winner. So each of us were able to represent GCC well as see people we haven't seen in a while and make some good relationships and do some good learning. CSDC conference is coming up in early December, and Dr. McCormick will be presenting on academic and data accountability. Mr. Sample and I are presenting a session on the politics of charter renewal, and Jason will also be representing his role as a WASC commissioner and be speaking to the new equity protocols. I really want to affirm Dr. McCormick, who continues to be an expert in the state in the area of data and data management and data, the importance of data and accountability. And now even more so is able to use that valuable insight to help charters that have not often had that level of support. And then really want to affirm Jason, who stepped out and has this very influential position with the WASC Commission. And those are not either one of them small things. And they not only provide us with putting us above the excellence line and having people see GCC, but also just charters in general. So really appreciate them both. You will be aware, I have reported to you a number of times that I have kind of over committed myself this semester, and I am in 2 different programs right now. One is a National Principal Supervisors Academy that the Center for Educational Leadership is putting on out of Washington, and then the UC Davis coaching program. Both of these I am utilizing with cabinet at various times. They're being my practice pigeons. And also I have a couple of principals who are my pilot principals that we are using this principal supervisor process with to become more familiar with it. I've already had some conversations with Dr. McCormick and with Jason and with our director of academics about how we will be able to marry this principal supervisor process with our current coherence inquiry cycles and make everything stronger for next year. And that work will be shared across a team of our directors. So you'll be hearing more about that over time, because right now it is exactly what you've just heard is our whole thimbleful of what we've decided. But we've got some good information moving forward on that I think you'll like. Probably at the mid-year retreat, I would think. Dr. McCormick will talk some about that if you want to make a note of that. The virtual academy is still continuing to enroll and is doing a great job at marketing. We're currently at 139 students. If the continued emphasis on vaccines for in-person continue, we expect this number to continue to grow. We had a soft opening at the GCC Firehouse. I know that Harry Block and Mark Anderson were both able to attend. We had quite a few of our principals and administrators come out to support. I know Dr. McCormick was there, Jason was there, I was there. I'm sorry, I don't remember everybody else that was there. So it's if I did not mention you, I still love you, I'm sorry. But it was a really nice event where we also got some good play by Good Day Sacramento. Jason was interviewed, and I do believe we have that clip. We're not planning on showing it this evening, but we have that clip and we could send it out to you if the board would like, so you could see the great things that Jason was saying on Good Day Sacramento on that day.
That would be great. Yes.
All right, good. And I really do want to affirm Ms. Maisha Britt, who's in the has been a key person from the community engagement team who has kept the ball rolling forward for the Firehouse Cafe across what has been a bit of a bifurcated process because of COVID. But without her continued work on it, it would not have gotten to where it did. I know that we also had significant work by Sergei Terepkov and David, I'm going to go blank.
Bansuelos.
Bansuelos, thank you. I still love you, David. I'm sorry I forgot your last name. But they've all added value here in getting people to this event and getting it out in front of various communities and bringing influential people to the event. Along with that, my very own assistant, Melissa DeMarco, was there for an entire weekend, cleaning furniture, cleaning space, creating a furniture, believe it or not. She was building furniture, a coffee table, and bringing books and things to make it look more homey. So I don't want to affirm her. I know Director Heather Gold came out and also added a lot of value. There were lots of hands. There were lots of hands and a lot of people bringing things and adding to it. And I know I haven't gotten everybody, but it was a very wonderful event. So definitely want to affirm everybody involved. Just want to make sure, Mr. Sample, was there somebody that I forgot to thank? Okay. All right, so other things you may have noticed on our personnel consent that we are quote unquote separating from Director Paula Caramasino. That was not any kind of bad news. It is that Paula told us some months ago that she planned to retire. And we, a couple months back, hired a new director to fulfill that position. And we had a wonderful thing that never happens the way you want it to, which is we had an overlap between the two positions so that Paula could train Adam. And it has been a wonderful thing to have them both on for that time. So you will be meeting Adam Vivia at a later date. I'm sure he will have an opportunity to present to the board. But we want to, on behalf of the organization and of course the board, we want to wish Paula all the best in her retirement as well. Directly after our last board meeting, we were celebrating the Administrators Week, okay, Administrators Appreciation Week. We had a very nice socially distanced luncheon following all appropriate protocol in the boardroom and enjoyed giving out certificates and some flowers and some little treats to everybody. And a couple of our administrators at the last minute were unable to leave their sites. And so I was able to be the deliverer of their lunch and their certificate in person to a few of their sites, which was service for sure. Full service superintendent here, making sure that every administrator got some sense of recognition and appreciation. Also, since our time together, we celebrated Veterans Day. We want to celebrate all of our veterans in the GCC, including anyone at our sites, anyone in our community, and also anyone from the board who served. Hopefully you had a chance to be celebrated and recognized for your service, but we definitely want to honor those that serve. This Friday, the state was feeling that especially all those access superintendents, that the Friday after the holiday, Veterans holiday, was going to be an issue. We, in fact, experienced almost no impact. It was nearly the same as our attendance a year ago on that date. There were some schools, you may have read about it in the newspaper, who got in some political ill will by taking Friday off and calling it a mental health day, at which time all the parents say it didn't help our mental health at all. So just to know, I think that staying the course was the right decision in that case. We have 1 week left, not even a full week. We have the rest of this week, and then we will be on Thanksgiving break for all of next week. Nearly all of our employees are out for that week. Some of our business services staff will be doing necessary things that have to occur during that time, but it is somewhat minimal, and all of our sites will be closed. But just a reminder that we are incredibly grateful for each of you board members for what you do to support the work and the mission and the vision. And also we're incredibly grateful for all of our administrators, all of our staff, and all of our stakeholders to come together to make a difference in the lives of the students we serve. So I am wishing you a wonderful break where hopefully everyone gets a little time to take care of themselves and come back refreshed for the 3 weeks we have in December to finish out the semester. So with that, Madam President, that's my update.
Thank you, Dr. Peterson. Board members, any comments, any questions or statements? Seeing no hands.
I just wowed them so much that
You
they
sure did. They just kind of in a trance, I think.
Yes, we
Oh.
are comatose.
okay. I don't know if that's good or bad, Mark. I don't.
I think you're doing so much when we hear about it, we just get tired. We just kind of trying to get back in touch with reality. But
Cindy, I just wanted to mention our foundation board member, Alan Hahn, also did some work for us on the Firehouse Cafe.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, he has been a great contributor. Thank you, Alan Hom. And by the way, he's been a long-term partner for us as well. Real
Right.
believer in our mission. So thank you, Mark.
was there an issue with, because we were invited and then I got another message saying it was canceled. So I'm not sure what happened there.
I'm not sure either. You might need to check with Melissa. One of the things that happens is a lot of times we send it back out as a reminder and people experience the reminder as if it was a cancellation.
Yeah.
And
that's
so it
probably
may
what happened then,
have
because
been what happened.
I did get one inviting and then I got the next message saying it was canceled. And so.
We'll look into it, Miss
Yeah,
Lily.
thank
So,
you.
mhm.
Yes, Bruce, you're on mute.
I just want to say I had the same thing. I had the notice and then the cancellation.
Yes.
Yeah. So Jason will work with Melissa and figure out what happened in the system.
Because
Because
I planned to be there until I got the cancellation, so I'm sorry
Yeah.
we missed it, but glad it was successful. I just needed to ask in your report about the 5 to 12-year-old students with the vaccination. Are we having much repercussion from that?
I think that there is a lot of discussion in the community, especially those that are not supportive of vaccinations in general, but it is not yet a mandate. So there isn't a response to it to be had, because right now it's just saying the governor has said it will become a mandate when it is FDA approved. And as I understand it, we are kind of being told the earliest possible time they will institute that would be July 1.
Okay, all right, thank you. And again, I really appreciate all of you, cabinet administrators, teachers, who are really holding together under all of the issues that are being faced, not just by GCC, but all over the states. And I'm using the term states because there's so much going on with the pandemic. Every day it's something new. So I applaud you and appreciate all of you for the hard work that you're doing. Thank you so very much. And so with that, my loves, we will move on to our next item on the agenda, which is the study session, Educators Effectiveness Block Grant. And I believe
it's going to be Dr. McCormick,
yes.
but I do want to provide a little bit of cover here.
Okay.
So we had told executive committee that we were not having a study session today. And unfortunately, Dr. McCormick found buried in a mini PowerPoint slide presentation, a little tiny bullet that said, oh, by the way, oh, by the way, you have to have a study session on this before you act on it. And we only have one meeting in December to act on it. So I do want to affirm Christine, one, for listening closely enough to figure that out and to get it on the agenda in time for today. So Dr. McCormick, kudos and take it away.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And yes, it was, one of those interesting timeline moments. So I look forward to sharing with you now sort of the next steps in our next layer of funds that we're getting, which is the Educator Effectiveness Block Grant money, otherwise known, because we always have an acronym for everything, as EEBG. as we move forward. All right. So just a little bit of background. This funding came out of the budget trailer bill, AB 130, and it is intended to support professional learning, specifically for teachers, administrators, paraprofessionals, and classified staff. There's a caveat here. It has to be that staff that works directly with pupils, but this is intended for that professional learning component to continue to support the work of our staff on the school site working with students. So some of the allowable uses under that frame would be around coaching and mentoring, standards aligned instructional training, anything around instructional improvement. We had this funding before, but they've expanded some of the definition to also include anything around engaging pupils. This is specific to how we bring students back to in-person learning as we have transitioned in and out of a variety of things during the pandemic, but a particular focus on improving attendance, engagement, those social emotional learning components, and as well as trauma-informed practices. And then the other allowable use is ensuring that we have staff that is providing the best level of instruction and education for our English learners. So I would, before I specifically talk about what we're going to do with the funds, I wanted to really share sort of what the funding looked like in the allocation that we have received from CDE. We do have, and through the 25-26 school year, to expend these dollars, which is helpful with our other buckets of money that we have coming with all different timelines. This does allow us a very broad window, but the plans that I will bring to you for approval in the next board meeting will have to reflect that expenditure cycle as well. So what that will look like over that time period. But overall, if we look at the GCC, we're looking at, almost $1.3 million coming in specifically for this professional learning, which is exciting work to be able to do with our school sites and our staff. So I need to affirm Dr. Gold as our director of academics, as well as our principals. We had a very short timeline. Once we found out we were receiving this money, once we found out what some of the rules were around how we were going to expend it, to really think about how we were going to plan to expend those dollars. So we pulled together some quick conversation, and all of our principals were very receptive. We heard pretty clearly that they didn't want to do anything that wasn't really embedded in the work around that we're doing around creating coherent systems. And one of the needs that has evidenced itself through that work is we know we need to work on supporting our staff in ensuring we have really good tier 1 instruction, as well as evidence-based intervention, and then those intensive intervention components for tier 3. So we're looking at this money sort of holistically, but the plans will come to you as individual school sites, but the theme will be very similar. It will be around how do we leverage these funds to continue the work we're doing to move it towards more excellence by supporting our teachers. Included in that is we have applied for the multi-tiered system of support funding that's coming. This would also integrate with the professional learning that if we receive those dollars will be part of the requirement for expending those funds. So really thinking in the broad sense of how do we improve academic achievement by ensuring that our teachers have and our classified staff have everything they need to provide that best first layer of instruction, and using the data tools and the data we're able to now generate with iReady, being able to create that toolbox of really effective intervention strategies, and really looking at building capacity. So how do we leverage these dollars to create some experts within the organization so that we can continue the work beyond the funding? So as I said, this is just your initial sort of glimpse. As you see the plans that'll come to you in December, there'll be more detail on specifics around each school site, but our overall intent is really around continuing to create those coherent systems to improve student achievement. And that is the end of my study session item, and happy to answer any questions that the board may have.
Okay, at this point, I do need to open the meeting for public hearing for anyone in the public who wishes to speak to this item. So at this point, the meeting is open for public hearing for anyone who wishes to speak on Educators Effectiveness Block Grant, EEBG.
Madam President, we have one member of the public that has submitted a comment for this item.
All right,
And I will read the item and it will take 2 minutes, or they will only have 2 minutes in this reading.
okay.
Here's what the public member is Brandy Yang. And her comment is, why are we running out of school lunches at Higher Learning Academy? This isn't the first time it happened. It's happened multiple times already since the start of the school year. Not every student is getting a school lunch. I've already asked the principal to address this issue, but it continues to be a problem. Are any of the other schools having the same issue? If so, what actions could be taken to fix this so that it doesn't keep happening? How do we get attention to this problem, or is it not a priority at all? Or could this funding be used to cover such things? Why don't you send someone to check in on this issue and interview the students to see how many are not getting lunches? That is the end of the public comment.
All right. And we will authorize cabinet members, superintendent, and other cabinet members to please look into this. And I do know, as a matter of fact, it was in the news today that there is a shortage because of the boats and the docks and what have you with getting lunches to schools now. So that is one of the issues that they're dealing with in terms of getting produce to schools and what have you. So
Madam President, staff will follow up.
you will follow up. Thank you. Any other comments on Educators Effectiveness Block Grant? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing on Educators Effectiveness Block Grant. Thank you, Dr. McCormick, for that information. And we will continue to look forward to the information on each school in the December meeting, which we will be voting on at that time. All right. Seeing no other comments or hearing none, we will move on. And our next item will be the consent agenda items. And it's pretty long, so I will just highlight those consent agenda items very quickly. Adoption of the board meeting of 10/12/21, personnel consent agenda, purchases over 30,000, revised curriculum lists for Community Outreach Academy, revised curriculum list for Gateway International School, revised job description for Educator 2, job description, payroll technician and salary schedule, interim supervisor stipend, speech language pathology, assistant school psychologist, disposal and surplus of items for HLA, Higher Learning Academy, disposal items for Sava, wildland fire truck, resolution 2021-2209, certificate employee appreciation week, resolution 2021-2207, classified employee appreciation, resolution 2021-2208, national charter school week, and resolution 2021-2210, Cal STIRS. These are the consent agenda items, and I will entertain a motion for approval. Mr. Anderson? Mark?
So moved.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Did I second? Jack, Mr. Turner? A second?
I second.
Oh, thank you. Are there discussions, comments, questions on any of the items listed on the consent agenda? All right, hearing none or seeing no hands, we will go into roll call for approval. Mark Anderson,
Yes.
Bruce Mandrick,
Yes.
Jack Turner,
Yes.
Lily Campbell, yes, and I think Mr. Block is still absent at this time. So 4 board members approval. Thank you so very much for approval of the consent agenda items. And now we move into business, no business, curriculum instruction, nothing until we get to board comments. Board comments. We're open now for board comments. Anyone? Anyone? I keep hearing me talking. All right. Again, on behalf of my board, thank you all for everything that you're doing to keep us moving and keep us running in the right direction. If it were not for you, we would be having more issues and more comments and more sessions. So thank you, everyone, for all of your hard work. And now, without any further ado, we will be moving into closed session. And we have 2 items for closed session. Item number 1, closed session, employee personnel matter pursuant to Government Code Section 54957. And item 2, closed session, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to paragraph 2 or 3 of subdivision D of Government Code 54956.9. So we will now move into closed session, and we will be coming back after closed session to give results. So with that, we are leaving.
Give me just a moment and I will get everybody where they need to be.
Yes, thank you.
The public is welcome to wait, and we will report out after closed session, and we will adjourn officially after
Right.
anything that must be reported out.
All right. You are going to close session right now.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Mhm. Hello, Mr. Block. Hello, I'm going to send you to the closed session room right now, okay?
Our board members are being instructed to be sure to push the button that says leave breakout room. Can you bring them back from the breakout room? That would
Doing
be
it right
good.
now.
I want to affirm Dr. McCormick, who pushed the magic button that brought you all back.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Campbell, you are on mute.
Okay, I'm back. And I need to report out, we're back from closed session and we have no items to report, only information items in closed sessions. So thank you very much. Okay, announcement of the next board meeting, December the 14th, 2021 at 4:45 will be our next board meeting. And now we're down to closing comments. Closing comments, anyone? Cabinet? Yes, Mr. Turner.
Welcome, Harry.
I beg your pardon?
I know I'm welcoming Harry to our meeting.
All right.
Oh, I want to apologize, but my son, I took him to the doctor at 1 o'clock and I didn't get out there until after 5.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
His
That long?
sparkle
Oh,
back. So he's they got him back, coming back Monday again. So it was kind of like, okay. So we just have to pray for him.
Well, we're very glad to see you and glad you could make it.
Yes,
So, no other comments from the board for the good of the organization. So with that, I will entertain a motion for adjournment if there's nothing else. I need a motion. Yes.
Move to
Bruce?
adjourn.
Yes.
second.
Second. It has been moved in second. All in favor, roll call. Anderson,
Yes.
Block,
Yes.
Mandrick,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Campbell. Yes, the meeting is officially adjourned. And thank all of you so very much.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yes,
Thank
happy
you.
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Enjoy.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Right.
You get your turkey now because turkeys are getting short on the market.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
At a price, they're getting short.
and the price,
Yeah.
everything is going up.
Dr. McCormick, if you'll make me the host again, I will cease the stream. We're still live.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna leave.